Madam Chairwoman, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Albert Link. Dr. Link is a professor of economics at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with a focus in science and technology policy. He received his Ph.D. in economics from Tulane University and is currently the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Technology Transfer. He has written many articles on the SBIR program, and Dr. Link is a member of the research team for the National Research Council's Committee for Capitalizing on Science, Technology, and Innovation, an assessment of the Small Business Innovation Research Program. So as a Tulane graduate, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Link. Dr. Link.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Chairwoman Elmers, Ranking Member Richmond, and members of the subcommittee. The pollen season has arrived in North Carolina, so if you would excuse me. It is a privilege to be here, and I thank you for the opportunity. The observations that I offer to you this morning are more general than those from Mr. Norum and Dr. Brewer. The insight that they offer from a company perspective is enlightening and extremely important. If I may speak at a more general level, the SBIR program has had, and I expect it to continue to have, a significant impact on the technological foundation of our economy, thus reinforcing the economy's potential for continued and sustained growth. Defending this statement is not difficult at an aggregate level. The evidence is clear that the benefits to society outweigh the costs of the program. In other words, a benefit-cost analysis calculated under very conservative assumptions shows that the ratio of social benefits to SBIR funding costs far exceeds 1. Turning to two specifics, employment growth and commercialized new technologies, both of which are of economic importance and both of which are directly linked to SBIR funding. After I briefly remark on each, I will comment on the common thread between them, namely Phase 3 funding. Employment growth is not an explicit objective of the SBIR program, but it is definitely an important issue, especially in the current economic environment. The average annual rate of employment growth in SBIR-funded companies over the past decade has far exceeded the growth rate of the economy as a whole. The average rate of employment growth among, for example, NIH-funded companies has been about 11% per year, and this estimate does not take into account employment growth associated with those companies that purchase innovations created by the funded companies. Also, across agencies, employment growth has increased by about 30 persons per $1 million of SBIR funding. Employment growth varies among companies, excuse me, and it is greatest among those that have patented their intellectual property and have acquired Phase 3 funding. Controlling for these effects, there do not appear to be differences in employment growth among companies that are owned by women and/or minorities compared to other companies. But women and/or minority companies tend to patent their intellectual property less often. Commercializing new technology funded by SBIR is an explicit objective of the program, and about 50% of the funded projects reach the commercialization stage. The probability of commercializing a new technology also varies among companies, and it is greatest among those that have acquired Phase 3 funding and who have partnered with a university. And I suspect that partnering with a national laboratory would bring about the same result. And controlling for these effects on the likelihood of commercialization, again, there do not appear to be differences among women and minority-owned companies compared to other companies. The magnitude of the effect of Phase 3 funding on the probability of commercializing a new technology is noteworthy. Again, if I may draw from NIH as an example, the probability of commercialization nearly doubles when Phase 3 funding is available. Phase 3 funding thus has an economic importance to SBIR-funded companies. It's correlated with employment growth and commercialization, and the two are related. In conclusion, thank you again, Chairwoman Elmers, Ranking Member Richmond, and members of the committee for the opportunity to offer these observations on the overall economic importance of the program. I strongly encourage the committee to move toward a reauthorization of the program and to include in that reauthorization continued evaluation studies of the program with an emphasis on any economic consequences associated with changes in the economic environment or in the composition of applicant and recipient companies. Thank you.